This cover page really reminds me of like an 80s fantasy movie poster. I really wouldn't be upset if this was the cover that they used for Volume 42 when it comes out. This thing looks awesome. Also, welcome to the Casca redemption arc. Now, I don't know what this arc is officially going to actually be called, but Elfhelm has been destroyed, so there is no more Elf Island chapters to be seen. I was really curious if this chapter was going to follow up with Guts in the despair-like state that he was in, that we left him with, or if it was going to transfer over to Falconia and follow Casca, but I do believe that both things are eventually going to happen. Kentaro Miura was saying in his last interview ever that the story was going to shift away from being a group party going on an adventure and was going to shift into something different moving forward, which I think we are getting now with these chapters. I also theorized quite a while back that Casca would be able to have free reign in Falconia and she wouldn't be locked up in a prison cell. However, she is kind of in her own type of prison, but let's get into it. So first we see Casca's point of view of when Griffith was taking her off of Falconia, seeing Guts falling into the distance, remembering when Guts walked away like before, and then she wakes up in this miraculously clean, beautiful castle-like room with her bed just in the middle, and it seems to be just her and her alone. Now, I still saw a lot of people curious as to why Griffith would take Casca off of Elfhelm, but to me, it makes perfect sense, and I think the things that are happening in this chapter make that even more valid. See, Griffith is fully aware at this point that during the full moon, he transforms into the Moonlight Boy and has no control over his body or the boy's actions. The boy has proven time and time again that he will travel across the world through the World Tree branches to find Casca wherever she is, which could be a detriment to Griffith. The fact that every full moon he's going to fly off to God knows where and then have to make his way back afterwards. He knows that he's going to have to go after Casca eventually, and he also knows that he probably is physically incapable of harming Casca. So Casca represents this absolute weakness within his life that he was not expecting. He did not expect to fuse with the demon child and to lose control of his physical body at certain points during the month. So what does Griffith do about this problem? Well, when he finally comes face to face with Casca in the Griffith form, he decides to take her back to Falconia. And it looks to me like he's placed her in a place of luxury, where she is pampered and she has a bunch of maids that come to her aid that dress her up, and she looks pretty awesome in this dress, and I like the dress itself because it's very Falcon-esque. It looks like wings kind of flowing off the bottom of the dress, and also one of the maids says that it's a crimson color. Get it? Crimson, like the fucking Bailet. But all this time, Casca is being pampered, something very strange is going on. Number one, Casca makes no comments whatsoever about the dress itself, and if you remember, both in the Golden Age and even on Elfhelm, Casca felt a little bit awkward and uncomfortable wearing a dress. It's not something that she's used to. She's used to being a soldier, which we will also see take place during this chapter. And as she walks around Falconia, she sees the World Tree that she seems to be kind of enamored with, not really speaking, but just kind of in awe. She goes and sees the Band of the Hawk with a new army that Griffith has walking below her, and the maids mention that this is the Band of the Hawk. And we see Casca start to tear up, but she doesn't really have much of an outward expression. The tears are just kind of rolling down her face naturally, kind of like the word Band of the Hawk triggers something within her mind, but that her body on the outside is a little bit unable to express. She travels through the fields. There's a bunch of happy children that are happy to see her. Whether or not she's gone through the motions of this before, who knows how long she's actually been here, but she continues about her day. She has a wonderful dinner laid out for her. She has a hot bath that is drawn for her. And all the while, Casca just seems to kind of be in this daze, almost like she's half asleep, which is interesting when she starts having flashes and visions and memories pop up of Farnese, Shurikay, the people on Elfhelm, and wondering what it is, almost as if she doesn't remember them. But as she concentrates, as she thinks and reflects upon these memories, we see that she does. And the moment that she does, Casca'S consciousness snaps back into control, and then she lashes out. She starts attacking the maids around her, screaming that she has to get out of here. The best moment is when the guards come to attack her, and she grabs this vase. She smashes one dude in the face. He drops his sword. She grabs it. She throws a fucking flying sidekick, and then chops the man's arm off. Like, Casca, Jesus, overkill, but I love it. This is exactly what I would expect from Casca at this point when she's in the right mind, being within this situation. Like, where the hell is she? Where is Guts? She's being held. She knows that she's being held captive despite being in the luxury, and she's immediately trying to fight her way out of here. This is what Casca would do. The Casca that we know, the Casca from the Golden Age arc. She's back, and she runs from the guards, and she's screaming to escape, and she goes, and she says that she has to make it back. She wants to go back to her original group. She wants to go back to Guts. She even says that if she doesn't make it back, Guts, and she kind of trails off. I think she understands that from Guts's point of view, seeing her get taken away by Griffith of all people, by the person that betrayed Guts, by her own abuser, that is going to psychologically destroy Guts. She wants to let Guts know that she's okay, that she's alive, that she's fighting. She wants to let Guts know, like, deliver a message somehow, like she's here, but she can't. And then she seems to pass out and go right back into her bed that she was in before. And the interesting thing that we get at the end of the chapter is we see Griffith kind of standing, looming over the edge of his kingdom. We see our top apostles here. We got Irvine, Grunbeld, Locust. We even get a brief motherfucking Zod moment. Look at him, contemplating. What a badass. But Irvine says something very interesting, and he says the bird dozes peacefully in her cage, which means to me that Casca is imprisoned. However, it's a free reign type of prison. She is given her own specific location in Falconia where she is to be taken care of. She is pampered. She is given the best food. She is able to go out and play with the children. She is able to walk around. She is able to have access to this whole area of the kingdom and to be completely taken care of and nurtured. See, Griffith doesn't want any harm to come to Casca because he is basically protecting Casca for those moments when the Moonlight Boy takes over. And I guarantee when the Moonlight Boy takes over, he would go to this area where Casca is. They would hang out for the day, for the night, however long it takes, until Griffith turned back to his true self, and he would leave again. He's basically keeping her in an area where he knows that his weakness is protected. He knows that he is going to go to Casca regardless of what happens. He knows that he probably cannot physically harm Casca in any way, and he's not going to lock her in some kind of dungeon. I think that although Griffith does act rash back when he was a human at particular times, 99% of the time, Griffith is a very rational, forward-thinking character. He does things by strategic measures. He's not 100% some kind of psychopath that is just going to lock Casca in like the deepest, darkest dungeon and go in there and serial rape her every day like some people think he is. Yes, he's a villain. Yes, he's an antagonist, but he's a strategic thinker. And more often than not, he wins people over by his charm, charisma, and the ability to provide things to other people, not by forcing them. Notice that Griffith created this entire kingdom. He could have just done it just by his sheer power alone, forcing people to worship him as a dictator, but instead, he presented himself as a hero. He made himself win a battle. He made himself create a kingdom that people want to go to. He doesn't win and he doesn't domineer over people by force of will. He does it by making the people themselves want to look up to him, want to follow him. His power comes from his ultimate ability to bring people over to his side. I don't mean his physical God hand power, I mean the power of who Griffith is as a person, or how people view Griffith as a person, or a messiah, or whatever he's viewed at this point. Casca living in luxury and having free reign is exactly how the Griffith character, or the Femto character, the darkest part of Griffith, whatever you want to say, it's exactly how he would treat Casca, knowing what he knows. Just as he was going to allow Rickert to stay in Falconia if he wanted to. The devil doesn't strike you in the face, he offers you the luxury apple. But we also have to talk about Casca's state of mind. She seems to be in a daze. She seems to not really be in control of herself. I don't believe that Casca had her memory wiped or something like that. I think that she is kind of kept in this dreamlike, sleep-like state where she just goes through the motions. I think she is underneath some kind of spell that is limiting her ability to access her memories. And this is just my theory, but I think the character that is making this happen is most likely Sonya. Sonya is the only character that we know on Griffith's side that has this clairvoyant ability, the ability to kind of look into the future or look into someone's mind, or maybe have access to magic on that level. Although it's not the same kind of magic that Shirake would use. But it's compatible. I mean, he might have a specific other character somewhere doing this, but I doubt we would introduce a new character like that this late in the game. I suspect that it's Sonya, which I also suspect, theorizing moving forward, that it will cause Sonya to want to keep control over Casca, so she'll have to continuously try to keep her memories docile and keep her in this state. And by doing that, I believe eventually Sonya will look a little too deep into Casca's mind and perhaps see some things about Griffith that she was not expecting. I think Sonya is going to eventually be the one to turn on Griffith, and I think that that would be the craziest take of the manga, to have the girl that is most obsessed with Griffith, well, I guess besides Charlotte, the one that was most on his side, the one that perseveres with him the most, to be the one that eventually sees him for what he truly is and turns on him. I would love to see a Casca-Sonya team up. That would be crazy. Now, the only other thing is that the end of the chapter talks about Griffith looking at the world tree, and he says the East, and the other characters kind of look at him like, like, what are you thinking? What are you contemplating? And then, of course, we just get Griffith smirking like a jackass at the end. But what is the East? What is to the East? Well, what has Griffith's plan been, basically? Well, he is collecting all of humanity into basically one giant location. He does say that he wants to create other kingdoms as well. He is probably on a quest of global domination, but I believe also bringing humanity collectively together. We know that he's been going around basically killing all the astral creatures that exist. We know that he's been killing the spirit trees that take power away from the connection to the astral world. He probably just destroyed the giant and most powerful spirit tree on Elfhelm. So if the spirit trees are destroyed and most of the astral creatures are killed, then what could possibly be left? What is left on the planet that Griffith would need to do to accomplish his goals? There's a slight possibility that he's talking about where Rickert went, but I highly doubt that. It's probably something new, something different that we haven't seen yet. But judging of where we are in the story, it's probably his last venture before his final plan is enacted. We also have the giant mystery of, like, the rest of the God Hand. Where are they? Are they to the east? I don't know. But overall, I really love this chapter. I love the direction that this was going. I loved following Casca. I like the strategy of what Griffith is doing with her. I like that her mind is constantly battling for dominance now that she's got basically her consciousness back. She knows who she is, but she's being kept under this dreamlike spell. It's probably something that's going to be enacted day after day after day. How will Casca combat this? She will probably escape at some point. She's probably going to go into Falconia further at some point. I can't wait to see all the stuff that happens with Casca. Not to mention, we have shit happening back on Roderick's boat. So there's a lot of potential here, a lot of potential for growth of the story. I don't know what this new arc is going to be called, but if this is the setup, I'm on board. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Did you like this chapter? Did you not like it? And what do you think is going to happen going forward? How do you think Casca is going to get out of this? And what do you think is to the east? What is to the east right? Other than that, guys, thanks as always for watching. I really appreciate it. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and comment below to help out in the algorithm. Both things will. And if you want to support the channel on a deeper level, I have channel memberships turned on for as low as $1, Patreon for as low as $1, and all the various social media links down below where you can follow me. Other than that, guys, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you next time.